Good evening. A standoff that lasted for nearly 16 hours at the Wonderful Company in the Lost Hills area is now over. The standoff started at 3 this morning when a man climbed on top of the roof of the Wonderful Company with what authorities called a sharp-edged weapon. The man has not been identified, but authorities say they don't believe he's affiliated with Wonderful. Workers were evacuated from the building and a crisis response team was called out along with deputies and multiple other agencies. Around 4:30 this afternoon, authorities fired less lethal rounds at the man. It's unknown if any of those rounds hit him or how many were fired. Officials say the man is now down from the roof and in custody and is being medically evaluated. Our other top story tonight, April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and one local organization is looking to make a difference for families by having them read more books. The Now's Scott Sheehan looks into a new program aiming to help local kids and families one story at a time.
Bedtime stories.
Tonight's book is The Little Engine That Could.
For many children, it's a routine their parents will do for them before they go to sleep.
It does a lot for a child's imagination, helps them learn. Obviously, I think in the early stages, especially 0 to 5, it's for them to hear those words, see the words in the paper and listen to words that they might not understand that come from adults.
In April, reading to your child means more to the Kern County Network for Children. They're promoting reading as a way to reduce child abuse in Kern County.
And off he steamed to the roundhouse where engines live. The more time that a child can spend with someone that loves them, the less likely they are to experience neglect or abuse, because the eyes of the ones that love them are closest to them. And also a good way to start that or start a habit is for them to read with the people that love them.
What were all those good little boys and girls on the other side of the mountain going to do without the wonderful toys to play with?
Every night in April at 7:15 p.m., Trolson says the Kern County Network for Children will post a different bedtime story on their Kern County Network for Children Facebook page.
And tonight my special guest is Violet from The Incredibles and Edna.
The 30 days are broken into different themes, including adventure, Dr. Seuss, trolls, and love. He dresses as different characters to encourage children's imaginations.
I'm in a cover.
His daughter even makes special appearances to show how much children enjoy being read to.
Because I love reading books, because my teacher always reads me books at school.
I think I can, 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 I think I can.
Kennedy says she likes her dad's bedtime stories and thinks the idea can help other children around the county.
So they can learn how to read by themselves.
While the focus of this month's bedtime stories is on child abuse prevention, it's also to help parents create a lasting bond with their children.
So it's a good quality time, nurturing parenting for the parents to sit down with their child and spend that quality time with them.
And it's that nurturing bonding time that the Kern County Network for Children hopes will bring Kern County families closer and reduce preventable child abuse.
And that's the end of the story.
In Bakersfield, Scott Sheehan, 23 ABC, connecting you.
And if you're interested in learning more about the reading program, you can find more details on how to get involved on our website, turnto23.com. An open house was hosted this morning for local heroes who have served our country, aiming to inform them about numerous programs that have access to and can benefit from. The 11th annual open house, which was hosted by the Greater Los Angeles Veterans Affairs Healthcare System, was held at the Community Outpatient Clinic in Central Bakersfield on Westwind Drive. At the open house, veterans were able to visit more than 30 booths from local businesses and companies that are hiring, as well as booths on healthcare and other specialty programs. Organizers say events like this are important, not just to show veterans our gratitude, but to also give them a sense of community.
It's very important because we have to make sure that these men and women have served our great nation, and we would like to, give back to them and really just give them accessibility, to have access to engage in the benefits, to come out and fellowship with their local brothers and sisters in arms, and basically, just sort of make it like a family event for the veteran to come out and have a good time.
At the open house, veterans and their families were able to sign up for giveaways, have lunch, and go home with gift bags. A new restaurant is looking to move into the trendy East Chester area of downtown Bakersfield, announcing their soft opening date next week. The restaurant, which will also be a market called Dot and Ott, will have a soft opening on Wednesday, April 10th. Dot and Ott focuses on a menu driven by local ingredients and in-season foods with produce from organic farms, meat from local ranches, and breads they make in-house. Their market will have fruits, vegetables, craft beer, and wine options. Dot and Ott will have their grand opening in May.
Robocall relief could be coming sooner than we thought, and Annie Taylor is here with why phone companies might be forced to implement new technology sooner rather than later.
They've already agreed to it, but a new Senate bill would put an actual timeline on companies to start using the technology to crack down on scammers. It's called Stir Shaken. It allows the phone companies to verify that the number that's calling you is a real phone number and isn't spoofing. And you might get something like a check mark on your display if the call is legitimate. And if it's not, well, you might not even get the call at all. And thing is, the carriers on both ends have to use the technology in order for this to work. The new Senate bill would require the big four carriers, you know them, AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, and Sprint, to implement it within 18 months. Now, the bill would also give the FCC more leeway to issue fines against offenders. It would remove the current one-year limit the agency has to conduct an investigation and take action. It also removes the requirement that the FCC must issue a warning before it can issue a fine. Still, the Justice Department would have to collect the fines. And according to the Wall Street Journal, Telephone Consumer Protection Act violators have been fined about $208 million since 2015. But so far, less than $7,000 has been collected.
All right, Annie, thank you. We got more to get to on our lineup and drama happening today in the college admissions scandal. And today we're sitting down with a college admissions insider who explains just how far parents are going to get their kids into prestigious schools. entering court this morning. Now, they are accused of paying their kids' way into elite schools. And today we're taking a look at the admissions process from many sides, including a prison consultant preparing some of the parents involved in the scandal for the worst. But first, I went to New England to talk to an admissions insider. Now, we came here to Dartmouth College in New Hampshire, and this is a school that is not part of the admissions scandal. But we came here to talk to someone who was once an admissions officer at one of the most exclusive schools in America. And she shared some secrets about how the wealthy can get an edge in a system many people feel is rigged against them.
Lied, cheated, and covered up their crimes in an international college admissions bribery and money laundering scam.
I think the surprise was the depth and depravity of what the college consultant was doing, because he was rigging every aspect of the process. And what it showed is that people are desperate to get their kids into top colleges.
Today, former Dartmouth admissions officer Dr. Michelle Hernandez-Bayless uses her inside knowledge in her college consulting company, Top Tier Admissions, a full-service college prep and navigation service that starts as early as 8th grade and can cost around $80,000.
We don't look for the cheapest neurologist when we're trying to have a brain tumor removed. We look for the best neurologist. So I think when people are looking at college consultants, they look at who's the best at doing this, who has insider knowledge, who can actually help my student really become a better student and appeal to more colleges. We typically sell out.
She's written all these books pointing out problems in the admissions process.
The scandal, I mean, I think a lot of people have just been woefully uninformed, even though there have been a million articles on college admissions about how it favors the wealthy.
She says the problem starts with half the spots at many elite colleges being reserved for kids with a hook.
And the hook being recruited athletes, development cases, legacies, underrepresented minorities, and VIP kids, like, for example, in Obama or a Clinton. Notice how they always get into Brown or Stanford or Harvard. I mean, that's no coincidence. If people are going to have outrage, I wouldn't single out any one group. I would look at the whole picture of the 50% of the spots that are taken and look who they're taken up with. Recruited athletes get in at an 80 to 100% acceptance rate at all the top colleges once they're recruited. A lot of athletes tend to be white. Not all. I mean, obviously there's sports that are more integrated, but in general, people who do sailing and squash, those types of sports tend to be mostly white and affluent.
While schools do reserve spots for lower income and underrepresented minorities, she says average families are the ones who often get overlooked, fighting for the remaining spots.
What if you're just like a typical middle class person who grew up on Staten Island, who goes to an okay public school? You're not disadvantaged per se. Those are the kids who fall through the cracks.
As these celebrity parents now face potential prison time, she says all parents need to keep perspective.
If you start looking at, head CEOs and people of companies, a lot of them did not go to these fancy schools, but yet there's the perception among parents that their students will be tremendous failures if they don't gain admission to the school of their choice.
Interesting story there. Well, we're going to shift now because Easter is just around the corner, and to celebrate, the Bakersfield Police Department is hosting a special Easter egg hunt. BPD is partnering with the Kern County Superintendent of Schools to host the egg hunt for blind and visually impaired students. Instead of the traditional plastic eggs, these ones will have beepers. The students will then find those and trade the beeping eggs for eggs filled with candy. The invite-only event is happening next Thursday at 9:30 in the morning at the Bakersfield Police Activities League. Houchin Blood Bank is hosting a blood drive next week where they will give you a pint of ice cream in exchange for a pint of blood. The blood drive will be held on Tuesday, April 9th at their blood bank on Bolthouse Drive in Southwest Bakersfield. At the blood drive, people who donate a pint of blood will be treated to a free pint of Ben & Jerry's gourmet ice cream, my favorite. The blood drive will be held from noon until 8 o'clock and between 6 and 8 p.m. Houchin will also be giving away free hot dogs. Again, the Pint for the Pint drive will be held next Tuesday starting at noon. So mark your calendars to check the weather that day. Oh, wait, you don't have to. Here's Allison Gargaro to let us know just how comfortable it is going to be for us to eat our ice cream.
Oh, it's going to be so nice. There actually is a chance for some slight showers by next Tuesday, but Honestly, not too bad. Temperatures are still going to be in the 70s with those above seasonal numbers. That's what we were seeing today as well. 74 degrees was our high today. Normal is 72 for this time of year, and it looks like we are going to be creeping below that number as we head into your Thursday, because as one system has pushed off to our east, you can see it's making its way over Colorado as well as New Mexico this evening. That is leaving dry conditions for us here in California, but we are tracking our next system that is going to be moving into the county. So before that, we are going to be seeing temperatures cool just slightly down to 69 degrees right now here in Bakersfield, 60 up in Isabella, and 50 down into Hatchapee. So we are going to be mostly dry throughout the morning for your Thursday, but then we are tracking a system that's going to be bringing a light chance for showers to us here in the county late Thursday into the very early morning hours on Friday. Then most of Friday will be spent dry, and then look at this. We are tracking a very strong cold front that is going to be pushing on shore. That is going to be bringing us the best chance for rain across the county, actually going to be Friday night, continuing into those early morning hours on Saturday. So that is when we are going to be seeing that best chance. But for this next storm, looking at some light showers down in Fraser Park as well as into Hatchapee by the time the sun sets tomorrow evening, and looking at the best chance for rain here in the valley at around 1:30 in the morning on Friday. It looks like most of that is going to be staying down near Arvin as well as in our mountains. They could actually be seeing up to 1/10 of an inch of rain, but thankfully fresh air continues to make its way onshore. So that means good air quality is in store for us here in Kern County. Temperatures down to 69 degrees by Thursday, but look at this, up to 81 degrees by Monday. Just a beautiful weekend in store, and conditions will be drying out. Chris?
Let's start the news feed. A man in Georgia is under arrest. Police say he hit a 9-year-old girl and her friend. They were playing on a lawn, and they say he then just took off. His attorney claims that he was fighting off a carjacker when he did that. Well, this week, South Korea will become the first country to launch 5G for phones. Now, if you're not a tech person, think of it this way. It will be at least 20 times faster than 4G, which many of us have right now. Verizon is expected to launch 5G in a couple cities later this month. Well, remember Pharma Bro, Martin Shkreli? Yeah, apparently federal prison didn't stop him from running his drug company, because the AP says he's been put in solitary confinement for running the company with a contraband cell phone. He's currently serving a 7-year sentence for lying to investors and cheating them out of millions of dollars. And speaking of prison, some of the people in that big college admissions scandal are preparing for the likelihood or possibility they will go to prison. At least one of them has hired a prison consultant. We are talking about a man to help grease the wheels in prison and make their lives easier. And investigative reporter Jace Larson introduces us to that consultant.
It's the case that appears to confirm what we all have suspected. Rich people can sometimes buy their way through life until they get caught.
Do they tell you that they never thought they'd get caught?
Oh, yes.
You've talked to some of the people who have been accused. What specifically do they tell you?
Well, they never imagined in a million years they'd be caught up in a federal indictment.
Justin Paperny has a unique career, one that he helped invent after stock fraud landed him in a federal prison a decade ago.
I made a lot of bad decisions, including lying to the FBI, lying to my family, lying to my lawyers.
Now he is a self-described prison coach, teaching criminals the ropes of prison life, from how to get the best job to living under the radar and doing it all safely.
Our white-collar defendants, doctors, lawyers, executives.
He helps those about to walk the halls of prison have an easier time serving time.
And there's a social order you have to understand that includes not speaking too loudly on the phone. Whenever you change clothes, you go into a shower stall because men don't want to see you naked. Not cutting a line to go to the chow hall. Every time you use the restroom, you wash your hands because you may go touch the handle to the TV room, and if you don't, you're going to get reprimanded and embarrassed in front of 40, 50, 60 people. I'm a big proponent of prisoners not associating with staff any more than they absolutely need to. Why? Something happened, you go complain to a guard, 20 minutes later, that guard is searching someone's locker, and another prisoner may say, wasn't that new prisoner talking to that guard? And
most of his clients have the cash to pay the $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000 cost, but some spend much less to learn the inside track.
What are the showers like? What are the toilets like? Will I have privacy? What is my job going to be like? Am I going to be serving food?
Brian Sisko hired Justin for $3,000. Brian turns himself in on April 16th for a 2-year sentence after growing weed in Tennessee, where it's not even legal at the state level.
Working with Justin has taught me that it's getting back to, you've got to re-identify your values and do a lot of introspection.
Will some of the people who are watching this say, This whole operation is helping rich people essentially avoid the full punishment of prison.
We're not trying to buy them out of jail early. Let me tell you what we're trying to do. We're trying to show the judge that they're more than some bad decisions they made.
He says prison is neither as bad nor as good as some people think. It's survivable. Assaults don't happen like in the movies. Prison, he says, should be a time to think about making victims whole and take responsibility, and then prepare for life after barbed wire.
I hope that anyone who may be embroiled in the criminal justice system recognizes just because you go to prison doesn't mean your life stops. Doesn't mean that it has to end. There's a whole lot that you can do there, and I want people to know that growth and better opportunities are possible.
I'm Jace Larson reporting.
Very interesting, Jace. Thank you. And finally, in our lineup, a lot of companies, they promise a lot of benefits when it comes to CBD. But next on the Now, we're going to break down what it can really be used for. Right now, 3 companies are facing warnings from the FTC. The government says they made false claims about their CBD products. We're going to bring in Amy Taylor right now with what you should know before you buy any CBD product.
Both the FTC and the FDA sent out warning letters to these companies. It's NutraPure, Pot Network Holdings, and Advanced Spine and Pain. Now, investigators say that the companies were selling different types of CBD products, including some for dogs. They claimed they could treat everything from cancer to fibromyalgia and Alzheimer's. And the FTC says some of these claims are false or don't have scientific evidence to support them. More research on CBD still needs to be done, but this is what we do know about it so far. Researchers at Harvard say CBD has been proven to help with epilepsy. They say it can also help with anxiety, insomnia, and chronic pain. But researchers are still trying to find out more about how it helps control pain. Another thing to note, doctors are still trying to figure out the appropriate doses. And that's partly because CBD is mostly available as an unregulated supplement. In fact, the FDA has only approved one CBD supplement. It's called Epidiolex, and it's used as a treatment for 2 forms of epilepsy. And if you're thinking of trying CBD in any form, Harvard researchers say talk to your doctor first.
All right, Annie, thank you. And you usually have to pay to take a class, but we're going to take you to a finance class that pays people to take it. Why the people behind it say that schools just are not preparing people with a basic understanding of managing money. That story coming up tomorrow.
And coming up after the break, we're going to have one final check of our forecast, how long these clouds are staying around, and when we could see the 80s up next.
Well, we saw mostly clear skies this afternoon with those near seasonal temperatures as we head into the evening hours. We will be seeing an increase in clouds ahead of our next storm system, but 69 degrees right now here in Bakersfield. Not too bad, especially as the sun is just setting. Maybe you can head out for a walk this evening. Maybe not wanting to do that tomorrow evening, especially in the mountains, because we are tracking our next storm that is going to be bringing rain chances late Thursday into the early morning hours Friday, but you can expect those showers again Friday night into the early morning hours Saturday.
Pretty comfortable temperatures overall. That's going to do it for us on the Now. We'll see you tonight at 11.